Andor is amazing, genuinely. This is not only a great Star Wars show, but this is genuinely one of the best seasons of television I've seen in a while. I know none of you believe me, because it's Star Wars, and Star Wars' track record with TV shows of late has been pretty rough. And honestly, this show being called Andor isn't doing this show any favors, because honestly, this show is so much bigger and more amazing than the name suggests. Andor isn't just, well, about Andor. It's about the whole galaxy and the beginning of the rebellion and their fights with the newly formed empire. This takes place between the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, and it's about these crazy heists and acts of rebellion in between those movies and the multiple planets that are rebelling and the empire, the rebels' politics, the tactics both sides use, both of them trying to stay one step ahead of each other while the show is following multiple characters on both sides of the conflict. Yeah, all of a sudden, once you hear Mission Impossible and Star Wars, you start to get a lot more interested. But the real reason this show is as fascinating as it is because of these characters. I know that going into Andor, you're not expecting these crazy characters, because the only ones you really know going into this show are Andor and Mon Mothma, which aren't exactly S-tier Star Wars characters. But trust me, every character in this show is great. All of the new characters, I think, are soon going to become Star Wars classics for how cool and amazing they are. Every character in this show feels real, and they never feel flat or two-dimensional. You understand where all of them are coming from, including the villains. They are all interesting, and the main storyline of the show is always in service of these characters. And that's because the show takes its time. It's never rushing. It always is taking its time to develop its characters, but it's never boring because you can never take your eyes away from the screen because of all these fantastic performances. The actors here aren't exactly A-listers, but they're all fantastic. Everyone is putting on a top-tier performance, and I think the reason that they're all able to be as good as they are is because of the direction. The direction always allows for the actors to play out the drama with long cuts, long extended takes, allowing the actors to play out the drama, really chew up the scenery and their monologues, and elevate the tension and overall impact of all of these scenes just because the actors are allowed to be actors and perform. And while the show can be slow at times, it is never stagnant. It is always interesting because the show constantly is putting little plot lines and stories into play. It allows these plot lines and problems to slowly sizzle as these characters slowly move into place and close in on each other until they eventually meet and explodes into amazing action. And when the show does its action, it's absolutely incredible and has some of the coolest moments we've ever seen in Star Wars. It's no Boba Fett or Obi-Wan or that weird stilted awkward action. The action here is great. It's dynamic and slashy and so energetic, but it also at times can be brutal and fit with that darker tone the show has. The action here isn't here for action's sake, but it's a culmination of the conflicts between characters that we are watching slowly develop over time. This show isn't trying to be the new flashy toy. Instead, it's just a very subdued and great show that is trying to be something different and amazing on its own merits. It prioritizes great drama and storylines and characters instead of the usual hype chimp brain TV of, oh, hey, oh my gosh, mom, I know that guy. Andor is trying to be something more, something you don't just forget in 1 week after watching it. Just like the best Star Wars movies and TV shows, it wants to exist and build off this world, but still be its own unique thing. From beginning to the end of the 12 episodes in season 1, the whole show feels like one vision. Everything that they set up eventually pays off, and every character and storyline that they put into place ends up being important somewhere down the line. This show is so easy to binge because each episode perfectly leads into the next. Each storyline following Cassian and Luthen and Cyril and Dedra all end up going somewhere. You love following these characters because each episode something interesting is going to happen. If you watch the first 3 episodes of the show and you aren't a little bit interested to see where the rest of the story is going, you might be dead inside. And you know what the best part is? Even if you don't like those episodes, they're the worst episodes of the entire show. This show only gets better from there. This show is like a snowball. The longer it goes on, the bigger and bigger it gets as each episode and storyline end up falling and colliding into places. The drama and tension explode into these incredible moments and scenes in an amazing finale. Just watch this show. It is so great. You will not regret watching this show. It's only 12 episodes long, and I need you guys to watch it because if this show is not picked up for a season 2, I will commit scooter ankle. This is genuinely one of the best and most fun shows that I have watched in a while, and it feels like that it is only getting started. This show has a fantastic cast, amazing world building, fantastic cinematography, and a great direction and vision throughout. Tony Gilroy and crew absolutely delivered when it came to this. I was not excited for this show at all, and you know what? After watching it, it's my second favorite Star Wars show right under Mandalorian. But I thought this was an absolutely great first season, and if you like other sci-fi shows like Firefly, you're going to love this. Andor is great, and you should not be letting this fly under your radar. This show is amazing, and you should be watching it. I'm going to give Andor Season 1 a very enthusiastic 8 out of 10. But before I go, I want to talk to everyone who has seen this show. So this is a bit of a spoiler section, so spoilers here. If you haven't seen the show yet, get out of here, go watch the show. Alright, now that I have the true men of culture here, we can now talk about Andy Serkis in this show. First off, great performance by Andy Serkis. But second off, how can this guy not survive in any movie or show that he's in? I swear, every time that he's in a movie or show, he just ends up dying. What? Poor guy, he needs a break.
It's a hard knock